All right. All right. This is Brian Johnson, staff writer for Finance and Commerce, and I'm pleased to be joined today on the Beyond the Skyline podcast by Jesse Neumann of Designing Earth Contracting in East Bethel. And Designing Earth Contracting is a provider of earthwork, site utilities, demolition, environmental work, and other services. Jesse and his wife Stephanie are also the developers of Elwell Farms, a planned luxury home community in Ham Lake. Elwell Farms offers 106 home sites and is named after James T. Elwell, who was born on July 2nd, 1855 in St. Anthony, Minnesota. Tell us, first of all, Jesse, thanks for joining me today. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. So I just gave a brief intro there, but I was wondering if you could get things started by talking a little bit more about your company Designing Earth Contracting and your decision to get into the business of developing luxury homes. What prompted that?
Nothing too special. Thank you for having me and appreciate your time today. Uh,
Mhm.
Basically, Designing Earth Contracting is a company that provides mass grading earthwork services for predominantly commercial and industrial developments. We haven't done too much with the residential. We focus more on the larger scale commercial work. Throughout the years, we've done some residential work here and there, but it hasn't really been our largest kind of appetite per se. And more or less, how Elwell Farms came about is my wife and I were starting to look for a new home to move into as our daughters are moving into high school. And as we were searching for a new home to look at, we just couldn't really find a development that we really cared for, or just kind of thought that would be our next forever home site. A development that was attracted to us was called Hidden Forest Estates up in Ham Lake there, and there was a bunch of vacant land to the south, which is currently the Elwell Farms. Over a course of about 2 years, we were communicating with the sellers, and we were struggling to try to find a common ground on a purchase price and kind of what our vision could be, and also what would be all the challenges that would go with the development and kind of all the protocols, approvals, requirements that we'd have from all the regulating authorities. So during that 2 year kind of course, we did our investigation, kind of dug into it. It was a learning experience for us. It was a lot more in depth than we originally anticipated, but it was also very rewarding as well. We got to learn more about the regulations. We got to learn more about kind of where the market sits right now, what the opportunities and excitement is for the Ham Lake and surrounding communities, kind of what's being developed right now in Blaine. Blaine is a very busy, proactive development city with a lot of exciting things coming online for them with the new sports center, baseball stadiums, the restaurant, the entertainment district. There's just a lot of great things coming down there. And we thought we could create a development that would be complementary to all the growth that we're seeing and kind of bring something new. We kind of pioneered a vision out here to bring a little bit more of a, I'm gonna say more of an elevated living community with having clubhouses, pools, golf simulators, a large park, walking trails, just bringing all these amenities that a lot of families and people have either subscriptions to, or they have monthly memberships to locations. And we thought, how could we bring some more activities for them, create more of an active lifestyle for them, more within their community themselves, and really to promote children getting back outside, playing at the playgrounds, running outside, kids being kids. And with all those kind of visions that we had and whatnot, we more or less came up with the concept of Elwell Farms. Throughout our design process, we interviewed a bunch of builders and people that we thought would be complementary to the development. And throughout that course, we were able to identify three great builders, which is Gagne Homes, NIH Homes, and Hanson Homes. Having those three builders on board has been instrumental. It's been very complimentary and rewarding. Their knowledge, their insight, their expertise, their availability to build, create the vision that they have has been very influential for us, and also, just a great partner to have. So we're very grateful to have them. And really, that's what, with the collaboration with those guys and kind of with the city and the engineers and everyone that we've worked with, we created Elwell Farms. And here we are today. We just finished our site grading out there. The first lift of asphalt's in. The open house is coming up here on Sunday, October 5th out there to showcase the first 50 lots in phase one. And there's a lot of exciting things, and there's still more to come too with it.
So 50 lots in phase one, and tell us a little bit more about that. When will the first homes be available for occupancy?
They are starting excavation on single family homes as we speak. The models are going in. There's going to be two sets of models that the builders are working on. They're working on the first set of homes to meet the spring parade of homes that they're going to use for like an executive style homes. And then they are also starting their excavation and building process too for the artisan level homes, which they are targeting the fall of 2026 parade. So there's currently gonna be roughly, I'm gonna say 9 to 15 homes that'll be starting here within the next 60 days. And then plus whatever pre-solds that they have, you would think would be most likely starting up within the next probably 90 days or so.
And what are you looking at as far as prices? Do you have a range in mind that,
There's nothing's ever set in stone. It comes down to obviously the vision of the buyer and what their needs and wants are. Yeah, there's been a guidance of stuff starting roughly around about a $1.5 million package for the homes and then going north of that. But it really comes down to the family and the buyer's desires and wants and location of lot and type of home and size and everything they'd like to include within that build. So their imagination is really up to what they would like.
and I believe it's a 500 plus acre site, is that right?
Correct. Yeah. So a couple amenities about the development. It's 515 acres, a little north of that. Within that 515 acres, there's going to be roughly about 180 acres of existing sod fields and underutilized acreage land that we're going to convert back into native, kind of like we're going to do like a restorative repair process to it where we're going to convert these sod farms back into wetlands and do a preservation on them. So it'll be nice, big, beautiful wildflowers, encourage the wildlife growth to come back, the habitat for them to occupy the space, and really, and also to create a nice viewership. We'll have about a 10-acre park that overlooks this nice green space, this wetland preservation that you can overview, look at. It'll be preserved. It'll never be built on, never be touched or damaged or altered ever again in the future. That'll be there forever to stay. We're also creating a little over about a 40-acre lake right now that will be available for the residents and the public to utilize for fishing, kayaking, canoeing, and just kind of great water access for that as well. We'll have several miles of walking trails around the site. The park has pickleball courts, basketball courts, volleyball courts, play sets, pavilions, seating areas, cornhole games. I mean, pretty much anything that you can think of, we have that. And we just wanted to kind of, bring something that's kind of fun, exciting, and kind of just bring a lot of fun back into the outdoor living. I mean, we even created a sledding hill, for the kids to go sled on during the wintertime, assuming we can get snow one of these winters. So we tried to meet as many expectations and desires that all families would have in today's world.
Well, I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about the decision to name the development Elwell Farms. Is that I mentioned briefly James T. Elwell? I assume was he owner of the property way back when? Tell us about that.
Yes, he was, and the family was. As we bought the land, I had no previous knowledge of really who James T. Elwell was, the Elwell Farms, to what they kind of the um, importance that they had, of the Noka County and surrounding areas. And at one point, the family owned up over to 40,000 acres in the surrounding area. They were very influential with drainage, grading. What is now Lexington Avenue was the old Lexington grade back in the day, which provided a lot of travel for north and south for all the dairy farms and whatnot. I learned that, James was the inventor of the box spring, for the mattress. He was a very influential pioneer for the U of M, also with the Minneapolis Parks and Board Recreation that, helped establish the Parks Department. And it's kind of neat and exciting to kind of learn the history of the land. And after meeting the family, we've worked with Tom, Cindy, and Patty out there, and you can see just the appreciation of the land that they've had, and how much that's been incorporated with their family. And we thought, given the pivotal moment, and now the land is going to be sold for development use, that we wanted to somehow continue that legacy and continue the tie to the property. And so we thought Elwell Farms was very fitting, given the farm agricultural use in the past, the Elwells, I mean, all levels of Elwells, from the grandparents to the children, just to be somewhat just commemorative of them, and to really just for their future generations too, to look back and see that this property is named after the family, and to just try to keep a piece tied onto the land.
Well, absolutely. So, what else can you tell us in general about what do you like about that Ham Lake area and this particular site?
I think that what I like a lot about it is Ham Lake is an acreage residential living area. I think they have, don't quote me, but I believe it's 2.5 acre minimums. I could be wrong on that. But what I like about Ham Lake is it's you're close enough to the city, but you're not. You still have some privacy, you still have some acreage, you get your larger space yards, and 5 minute drive into Blaine or to Lima Lakes, you have amenities there, and you're less than 20 minutes to downtown Minneapolis. So the access is great. Bordering to the east of the development is Carlos Avery. It's a 24,000 acre state park that has nothing but abundant, beautiful preserved trees, wetlands, and just a very natural setting. So, that is our neighbor to the east, and that tree line, that canopy, everything that, associates with the park, kind of mitigates into our property as well. Ham Lake, I like for the convenience for myself that I'm less than about 7 minute drive to Highway 35, which just got rebuilt into the fast pass lanes. And so, the availability, the access to get around the cities is, fairly nice and good. And Ham Lake, I think, is just a great city overall. The tax structure is minimal there. They run on a zero debt city budget, which I think is great for them. I think it's just a well-managed city, and it's complementary to the surrounding communities.
And I imagine you had to go through an entitlement process with the city. How did that go?
Oh, good. I mean, they're thorough. They're good at what they do, and they made sure that we checked all of our T's and dotted our I's. I had a developer that worked with us. His name is Joe Raddick with Contour Development, and Joe was pretty much the quarterback for the project for myself. And he did a great job. He went through all the entitlements. He took care of kind of any of the legalities and the approvals with all the jurisdictions. And Joe just did a great job. And Steve Jones with Keller Williams, he took on the responsibilities as well. And we all just kind of partnered together and worked our way through all the approvals. And here we are. Now we have this beautiful 106 lot development that's coming online, and we're excited for it.
And just getting back to designing earth contracting, I like to talk to folks like you about just to kind of get a sense of how things are going in the world of construction and development, because as site people, you're some of the first people out there, right? To when a project is built. How have things been going with your company, and have you been staying busy of late?
Yeah, it's a more competitive market than what it was kind of back in the early COVID days. Obviously, industrial market saw significant growth with the COVID era. Um, we're excited for what's coming. It's been a little bit of a grind, I think, for the past year or two with where debt and availability and bonding and everything that's going on with legislator and whatnot. But the opportunities are definitely been more favorable lately. And we've been able to sustain everything so far, so we're very grateful, and feel truly blessed to continue the growth that we've had. Moving forwards, every day is a grind. You take all opportunities that you can and try to service your clients and look for new ones along the way. And yeah, I think we got good things coming ahead of us. I mean, we just had our our first, rate drop here, and I couldn't tell you exactly how long it's been, but a couple of years now, possibly. And I think with the additional rate drops coming and that's becoming more affordable, I think that's going to incentivize a lot more development, and we're ready for it. I think the entire industry is ready for some growth to come along the way, and keep guys working and put guys who aren't working back to work.
And well, there's certainly demand for more housing from everything I've been hearing from luxury developments such as yours on down to affordable products. So hopefully things will keep moving along, and you guys will stay busy out there. So
Yeah, I mean, we'd certainly appreciate it. Yeah, I think residential definitely has a great outlook to it. As I mentioned previously, we hadn't really pursued a lot of residential work just because the commercial industrial markets have kept us busy enough. But it's in the last year, we've had more developers come to us with opportunities to do the work because their current contractors are overloaded or can't service them, and it seems like there's a lot of great activity out there. And we're optimistic, to see that. We obviously appreciate to see that excitement out there and what's coming online. And I think there's gonna be a lot of good with the residential come along here pretty soon here. So it's especially with what the state's starting to do with investing some corridors and with the infrastructure being taken place, it seems like everything's aligning to have a good strong run here.
well, great. Well, thanks for your time, Jesse. Any other final thoughts before I let you go?
No, appreciate the time, and thank you for having me. And feel free to reach out with anything else. But thank you.
Sounds good. Well, good luck with your development and have a good rest of your day.
You as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye bye.
Bye.